I said before, I'm Tasha Sultanovic, the Cloud Vendor Manager here in Australia and New Zealand for Ingram Cloud Marketplace. And this morning we're going to talk about the Go-to-Market Hub, which is your one-stop shop for enablement and marketing tools, which is really a resource database for resellers to find marketing collateral and campaigns to sell our cloud vendor products. Wait, here we go. So one of the challenges and the opportunity that the Ingram Cloud Marketplace has globally is the incredible amount of services that we actually make available to our resellers and MSPs. Currently, we have over 200 cloud services available across the globe. In Australia alone, we have currently about 25, but that is going to be on the increase on a monthly basis because it's becoming easier and easier for our ISVs and vendors to sell their products on our marketplace. So what that means, though, is you're going to have access to all of these vendors. Some of them you may not have even heard of. Some of them, obviously, like Microsoft, Adobe, Dropbox, etc. you have, but knowing how to sell those products, knowing how to position them, finding materials, creating campaigns, like that used to be very difficult because you'd have to go to each vendor's individual portal, which obviously looks very different, and try to find what you're looking for. So one of the things that our boffins in the US discovered was, well, why don't we just have a database or a resource for all of these vendors' collaterals for the resellers to go to as a one-stop shop? So that's what we're presenting here. And before I move to the next slide, I just also want to remind everyone that it's not just vendors that are growing on our marketplace. It's also our service providers. So we have service providers across the globe who also use our Cloud Blue platform, who are also on selling these vendor services. So the ecosystem is truly growing exponentially. So how do we make this easy for you to use? That's really the question. So I was going to show you a cool little video, but the stream is not good. So I'm going to just talk through a little bit before I actually go to a live demo, which we're all just going to cross our fingers and hope that goes well. But a little bit of a background about how the Go-to-Market Hub came to be. So we had all these vendors, and we're increasing the number of vendors and their products and services on the marketplace on a monthly basis. And we're making it easier for these vendors. So now, how do we give access to you guys? And this is what this slide's talking about. So we have the connector portal for vendors, which allows them to onboard their services. And we also have the go-to-market builder, also for the vendors, because they're the ones ultimately responsible for having the collateral on the platform for you to use. And then we have you guys. We have all the resellers and the MSPs who want access to this information and want it to be easy. So there's two parts to this. There's the back end, which is relying on the vendors to build this for you to use. And then there's you guys who are using it on the front end. This is the landing page, which I'll take you through in just a moment. But one of the interesting stats that I received just this week was the resellers who have been engaging in the Go-to-Market Hub have increased their revenue by over double those who haven't. And that's what I'm going to show you how you can do. So wish me luck. I'm going into the Cloud Marketplace. Yep, I think you're still with me. That's great. Okay. So before I launch into the Go-to-Market Hub, I'm just going to bring your attention to the right-hand side for our Comet competition tile there. So what we've done globally is we've engaged 16 of our individual countries to create a competition for new ISVs to win potentially up to $1 million in cash for the winning service. In Australia alone, if you are a reseller who also happens to be an ISV who's created a software solution that you think is interesting and unique, please compete in this competition. I will make sure that there is a link to this competition when we send out our recording on Monday. But I really think it's a really fascinating way to get your product seen, and it also shows the investment that Ingram has globally in supporting new products and software startup companies in getting their product out there. So without any further ado, this is the landing page for the cloud marketplace, which I'm pretty sure most of you are probably already our resellers, which is great. You have a login. It's the same login to use to go into the hub. So currently there is a little tile that we can just click in, and we're going to launch. So at the moment, we made the decision to have the login for the go-to-market hub the same as the login for you when you purchase products, because we just think that's simpler. But one thing we're also very aware of is your sales people and your purchasing people are probably the ones responsible for going into our platform to buy products. And now that we have a marketing portion and this marketing hub, we're going to find a way to give access to your marketers without them necessarily being able to purchase stuff as well. So I know some of you may not want to have your marketing people playing around with the sales part and vice versa. So look out for that. We haven't quite figured out how to do it yet because we don't want to keep creating multiple IDs to go to the same spot, right? So here we have the landing page. This is the home page. Here in Australia, we decide locally who our featured campaigns are. At the moment, Dropbox, Microsoft, Symantec. Over here we have new product playbooks. So these are newly launched or strategic vendors that we have that we'd like you to focus on. And up here, this is where the magic happens. So, sales playbooks. What are sales playbooks? Let's start with the products. Let's see if it's, yep, there we go. It's a little bit of a delay, but I think it's all right. So, sales playbooks basically are built for every single vendor that we have on the marketplace currently, and see how the look and feel and where you find them is all the same. And I'm going to click on one, and I'm going to show you the basics. So AvePoint, that's a relatively new global partner for us. They're a cloud backup. They partner with Microsoft very, very nicely. And you can see on the left, this is what's in the vendor playbook. There'll always be logos, sales guides, sales sheets, screenshots, and videos. And that's standardized across every vendor. So when you go in and find the vendor that you want to learn about, it looks the same. All right, so it was really, really important for the resellers that it was just easy and not every tile was different, etc. So probably to me, the most interesting or exciting part of the playbook section is the sales sheets. Because when you come over here, you can download a sales sheet. I hope this isn't risky. We're doing it. Let's hope it clicks. Oh, here we go. So it's popped up down here. Bring up the sales sheet. Great. Here we are. This is exactly what the product is. It gives you all of the different, look at that, sales features, key benefits, etc. So that's awesome. Excellent. Okay, great. But the part that's even more interesting to me is when you click on this edit button, it allows you to manipulate that sales sheet to add your logo, to even change the titling a little bit. And coming soon will be the ability to change the color scheme so that it aligns more with your branding for your company. Because at the moment, they're all kind of standardized on our Ingram bluey green. So to set up your assets, you can do that at initial login. So when you do finally go into the hub for the first time, you can put your logos in, you can put all your vendor information in, so that every time you do want to create a customized sales sheet, it's already there, and you just click on a button and it adds to the sheet. So I think that's awesome. I mean, that's simple and fantastic in my opinion. So screenshots, that's pretty self-explanatory. Don't want to spend too much time clicking into every single feature because there is a lot of content in this hub. It's see, I'm not even going to go down that road. No, but you get my drift here, right? Okay, let's go into the solution playbooks, because why is that different than product playbooks? Solution playbooks are aligned by industry or business size. So if you have a customer who has a particular business problem, or they sit in financial services, what vendors do we sell that are compatible in that industry? And so that, again, it's a way to give you a window into all of our vendor services of those you haven't maybe heard of before. Because everyone knows Microsoft, that's fine, great. But what are some complementary products and vendors? So that's pretty cool, I think. And I guess this is where I think our marketing people on the call, and I hope there are some, are going to probably get the most out of this new sales and marketing hub. So you have the playbooks, which are the logos, sales guides, sales sheets, screenshots, videos, etc. Now, marketing campaigns. This is our version of a mini Eloqua or Mercado, where you can actually create your own lead generation, reporting. You can create a library of all the assets that you've already created with the vendors from the hub, so that they're already there. You don't have to redo them again. It's still thinking here. You can also search, and this is probably the most, I guess, in-depth part of the marketing campaign page, is that you can create contact lists of your end users, so that once you have created a campaign, you can replicate that campaign across another vendor, and then you can send it out. And then you also have reporting mechanisms and graphs to show you which campaigns are more successful than other campaigns. And it's just everything from social, banner ads, email banners, like whatever it is that you think will be effective in communicating with your customer base. Just going to click on overview as well. It feels a little slow. At the end of my presentation, and when I do send out the recording, I'm going to include learning links and some demos that have been done by Global that go into the marketing campaigns with much more depth. Because I know there are people on the call who are going to be more interested in the sales portion, and then there's going to be the marketers who are just going to be like, wow, I want to go down that rabbit hole of customization and reporting and lead gen tactics. So here you can see just a plethora of ideas and information to get you started. And it's going to take some playing around with, honestly. And just, like, you can't break it. So, and, you know, it's free. So it's not like we're charging you every time you want to have a look. Now, from marketing campaigns, we also have insights and tools. Now, insights and tools is more around education, product and services, and events and webinars. So that's content that Ingram Micro's uploading on a local level, as well as vendors to keep you up to date with any events, etc., that are happening. So that has to be managed by the teams, and this is where the vendors, it's really up to them. The quality of the information is based on how frequently they are going to input and keep you up to date. So that's our job, is to make sure they realize the importance of this resource database. Now we also have news and updates, and these are blogs. So this is just information, again, that's inputted by Ingram and our vendors to keep you up to date with what's new, especially with the go-to-market hub. There's new tweaks and refinements and just a better user experience kind of happening on a monthly basis. And so this is a place where you can find out what's new and how to use it. Now, let's explore a little bit down here. So, this need help. Oh, I lost it. Here we are. This need help button on the bottom right is a chat. It's a chat box, but also it has some very common asked questions like leveraging the sales playbooks, searching those, how do you use it, executing marketing campaigns, because it is confusing. It is. There's so much useful information that we've made the most commonly asked questions available down here for you to use. So on top of the video links, etc., that I'm going to be including when I email you out, please use this support section. It'll be your new best friend. So now let's explore around a little bit more here. So back to marketing campaigns. I wanted to show you some reporting, but to be honest, without any campaigns, I don't think it's going to come up with, so email list, current, I don't have, I'll show you a screenshot about what this sort of reporting mechanism looks like. But honestly, to be able to manage your campaigns now all in one place is pretty remarkable. So let's go back to home. So again, just exploring a little bit more on this home page. Solution playbooks. Again, to be able to target a market by vertical or by size when you're not exactly sure how many vendors we have that can actually address those markets. Brilliant. Executing campaigns, discover products. It's all here for you. I can't encourage you enough to have a play with the features. And I think as we develop more of the the user experience, I think continued demos are going to be necessary because it's a lot of content. So overall, this is what we're trying to achieve. For the resellers, we want to be able to help their salespeople sell more, and their marketing people be able to help their sellers sell more, and to do it all in a localized location, which honestly is, I think, the biggest advantage that Ingram Microcloud Marketplace has over the competitor. So, just a bit of a screenshot about the lead gen and management campaigns. So there's graphs. You can pie charts, however you want to slice and dice your information, but it collects all of that data for you so that it can be shared amongst the salespeople in your organization. And some stats here on the bottom right about the experience that the resellers in the U.S. hub, because the U.S. hub was launched about 3 months ago. These are the sort of stats that they're seeing, that engaging with the go-to-market hub has improved their revenue on average almost 3 times. And then you can even see from seats, etc. So it kind of sells itself, in my opinion. So from there, this is the resource page that I'll be sharing. I can't even express how important and interesting the introducing the hub to reseller partners is. I've put some marks in there because it's about 50 minutes long. So the first 3 minutes, it was not really anything of interest, but the 15-minute mark is when the hub overview comes in, and then the 28-minute mark is when they really take you down the rabbit hole of the different aspects and campaigns and playbooks and how you add a logo and all of that stuff. So from there, I might just take a pause. I'm not sure if any questions have come through. I know I've gone through that kind of quickly, but I didn't want to try to boil the ocean. So I'll just see if Sonia, our wonderful cloud marketing executive, has any questions for us. I'm sorry if there's a bit of background noise because someone's talking very loudly next door.
I don't have any questions so far, but I'm not sure if you're familiar with GoToWebinar, but if you had any questions, if you can just pop them in the chat box, we can see them and then ask them.
While we're waiting, I might just pop back over to the homepage for the webinar here and just click in a little bit more so you can get an idea.
So we do have one question that's come through, Tash, and the question says, where do we get lists to enable us to kick something off like this?
Lists. I'm not sure I know. Can you add a bit of a description about what you mean by lists? As if I'm
for the email marketing campaign. So I'm guessing that's a customer list.
Customer list. So it's your own customer list that you add in your contacts so that you can manage your customer list so that when you do email at a campaign or do any sort of lead gen tactics, the information is already in there for you. So pardon me if I misconstrued that. We're not supplying the end user lead gen for you. We're just allowing you a way to manage it and to get the campaigns out easily. And to also be honest, anyone who's on the call right now who has access to our cloud marketplace can start doing this immediately. There's no hoops to jump through, etc. Oh, I can't even show you a video. Damn, I was going to show you. And the other thing to remember is when you do log in, set up your logo and your branding and your contact information and everything, so that when you do start to play with all the different campaigns, etc., that it's just one click. You're just adding in your branding information, etc.
And just to answer another question, we will definitely be sending out a copy of the webinar recording, the presentation, and some useful links, and just a little incentive that will be shared with you on the follow-up email that we've got around the go-to-market hub.
And also we'll add in our comment competition. So I know some of you resellers or MSPs are also ISVs. You want to be all the acronyms. Everyone is doing everything now, and I think that's part of why the marketplace is so important at this time, because we have convergence of vendors who are resellers who are ISVs who are now selling back, and it gets very confusing. So I think Ingram's really showing itself as a solutions aggregator at this point, where we can converge in one place and share information. And the cloud competition is a great opportunity to say, hey, I have something that's interesting, or I've developed a software package that's unique or that's helped our business grow. Tell us about it. I think it's a great opportunity. I think the only real criteria is you need to be under $10 million worth of revenue for that product. So it's open to one and all. Well, if there's no more questions, I might leave for another minute. But Sonia, can you think of anything that I might have forgotten to mention?
No, not at this stage. But just kind of reinforce that the hub is available, and if you need any help, we're always here to get on the phone and talk you through it step by step, and we can help you guide into the right kind of campaigns and the areas in the hub that would be more useful to you as your business.
Yeah, and I'll make sure our details will be in the email out. Yeah. That's awesome. Well, thank you everyone for joining. I hope that wasn't too quick or too overwhelming. I think it's a lot of information. Just go in and play with it. I can't stress that enough. And as long as you don't mind listening to more American voices, the webinars and the links I'm going to send through are really informative, and those guys really know their stuff. So thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful morning, and thanks for joining us. And I'm signing off. Thank you all.